let's add a positive spin to this. Let's end this with a positive spin for the Raiders fans that did take the time to watch this. We don't want to just sit here and shit on your team. There's a way to turn this around. There's a way to make it more desirable because there are some pieces there. This is what I would like to see Mark Davis do to make the job more desirable. First things first, I would go in, I'd get a deal done with Josh Jacobs right now. I know they got an interim GM. I would sit in with him and the interim GM and Josh Jacobs and his representation in a meeting, hammer out a deal. A 3-year, $36 million deal, whatever. 3-year, $40 million deal that gets him paid $15 million because he's still having a decent year this year, I believe. And you're then locking up your weapon for the future. Jimmy, you're kind of stuck with. You got one more year. He's guaranteed, I think, or dead cap hit of $20 million. So you make a determination of, hey, we're either going to move off of him and pay that, which, okay, you do that and it is what it is. You suck it up for the year. You go with a rookie quarterback depending on where you move. Third thing, I would guarantee, again, I know they signed a 6-year contract. I would guarantee hands off. I would love to see him guarantee, come in a press conference and say that even. Whoever I bring in, they're running the show. I'm going to step back. I'm not going to touch it. They will handle all the daily operations. They will handle all the draft picks. They'll make all those determinations. Just let them run it and give them 3 years minimum. Guarantee them 3 years minimum. I don't know if you need to put in the contract. I don't know how you want to make that happen, just as a promise, whatever it is. Give them 3 years to turn it around. Those couple moves right there, I think, already make the position way more desirable than what it was. And then you got some other moves you could probably renegotiate Jimmy's deal, pay him money up front to try to, get it down to a signing bonus, which takes money off the books, whatever you need to do to try to work it a little bit to get yourself more cap space. Just little moves like that make this job all of a sudden a lot more desirable. But I still feel like, and we kind of seem to agree on this, the biggest caveat about this position, the biggest hindrance on it is the owner. It's not even necessarily the job itself. Because, again, there's a couple of good pieces there. It sucks to play Mahomes twice a year. That's potentially 2, maybe 4 losses, including the Chargers, aging players, whatever. But overall, the roster itself isn't awful. It's just a couple moves here and there. It could make a decent adjustment. But you don't have the time to make those adjustments. You essentially need to go in and hit on every single pick, which isn't a feasible, expectation. What are your thoughts?
No, you said it. You said it. You summarized it best. For me, my one gripe with the Raiders head coaching role is just the owner. It's just your boss. That's the one thing. The aging roster is an issue, but that's a solvable problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can't solve for an angst owner that's just sitting up in the stands calling you an asshole during the game. You just can't solve for that. He is who he is. And I don't know how hands off he would be per se. He seems pretty entrenched with the org. To your point, when we first started the segment, he went down and got his hands dirty, and he's talking to players directly, having those meetings or interviews with them about how a team's operating, which is fine to a certain extent. But you gotta remember, this dude fires fast, which I guess is a pro too. Once you see a mess happen, he's like, no, I'm gonna own this mistake and clean house and try again, which is nice too from his perspective. But when you're applying for the role and thinking about taking it, it's damn, there's actually a good risk here that I could be canned in 2 years. And this is my once in a lifetime opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL. Do I want to go work for the Raiders? That's my entire point. Which someone will take that chance because for them, they've been grinding their whole life for it, and they're like, no, screw it, I'll go do it. But in my mind, I'm like, it's risky. It's risky.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the other thing about it too. If you're promising, a Ben Johnson from the Lions, right? If you're a Ben Johnson from the Lions and the Chargers job goes to somebody else, what are the other promising openings that come up and go to Jim Harbaugh? Or
I don't know if Bears is promising, but the Bears will be open.
Yeah, the Bears probably open. But if you're looking at the top 3, I'm gonna roll with the Chargers because I feel pretty confident that'll be open. And you look at that and go, that's the only job I want. And that job gets filled with somebody else. There's no problem in staying one more year in Detroit. You've shown a consistent pattern of being a good coordinator. All it's going to happen is you stay one more year in the house that you already own, in the city you've already been in, coaching the players that you already know have been coaching around, and get another year of stellar play and other things to make yourself look even better. You get a little more experience and knowledge picking the Dan Campbell's brain. It's a win-win for you if it's like Raiders or stay. I think it would just stay in that situation.
Yeah.
Dang it, there's one more thing I was going to include. Oh, here's another problem I have a little bit with the owner going down and talking to the players, meddling, interviewing, whatever, right? George Pickens today posted, release free me. He doesn't like the way he's being used. He feels like he's not getting enough targets. He feels like whatever, right? And we as fans, and I'm sure the coaching staff, can look at him and be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're a second-year player. You're not getting released. You made your own boneheaded mistakes and misses and not getting your foot down. You could have had a touchdown plus, some more yardage there. All this other shit, right? Now imagine that's the guy that's determining whether you keep your job because he met with the owner and bitched about you. The owner came down and was like, hey, George, how are you feeling about Mike Tomlin? I feel like he's trash and he's awful and he's not giving me the ball and he's not using me the way I'm supposed to be fucking used and blah, 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 blah. That's your job now on that ass because he isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, but all he's doing is bitching to the owner about how you're fucking him. So that's the kind of another problem I have a little bit with going to the players because they might be disgruntled about something. They had a bad game. They're not being used the way they think. They were promised this when they signed, and they don't feel like they've gotten that in return. So, are you really getting the full picture of what you're getting? Or are you getting a bunch of people complaining to you about what's going on?
Like it's just like negative bias. Like it's already biased because, like, especially if Mark Davis going to go talk to Devontae Adams, who was physically unhappy with their last game. Like, of course he's gonna be like, yeah, dude, this dude sucks. Like, he's not giving the ball. I had one target in the first half last week. You saw it. You called him a fucking asshole during the game. Yeah. And he'd be like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, Devontae Adams is going to give you different feedback than Jimmy Garoppolo might, or Max Crosby might, or like Colton Miller might. So, I mean, it kind of depends on who you're talking to and when. So that's kind of the problem I have with it a little bit too, is you might be getting a biased opinion about it. So, but that does wrap up, I think. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say one last note. I feel like he just went and talked to the player just to get just to confirm his own decision. Like I think he already knew. Like he was gonna fire them. He just went down there and be like, "Are you really not happy?" Yeah, I'm not. Okay, cool. I just feel like he just did that as a last check of the box. But yeah,
which again, it's still wild. I couldn't imagine the CEO of my company, and again, I don't work at the biggest company in the world, going to someone I'm over and being like, "Hey, is Emmett always in his office?" I don't know. He might not be. All right, he's gone then. That would. If you're not liking something I might be doing, or you have a question about my performance or my managerial style or my whatever I'm doing,
go talk to you directly.
I would much rather you come talk to me directly and be like, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I'm seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong, or justify it, or fix it, whatever. I mean, again, a year and a half in is not a long time to make changes and shit. I know the NFL season feels like it seems like it feels quick. But it's really a slow-moving process to make changes and shit. So, again, that's to me is just how I feel about it, and that just might be a me off thing. I don't like. It seems like an owner that meddles too much to me. Yeah, you don't really hear of, Art Rooney going around to the players. You don't hear of whoever owns the Seahawks now. I can't. It was what was his name? Paul something. But I think it's his sister owns it now. You don't see her going around to the players, which I think about the good historically good franchises. You don't hear of Robert Kraft going down and talking to, Mac Jones about something. He leaves it to Bill Belichick to run the shit. And then he meets with Bill Belichick if he has a problem. So
yeah, that's fair.
But that does unless you got any last minute points.
No, I'm good. I said a lot, ranted a lot, vented a lot. So yeah, I'm good.
I feel like a good rant session today. But that does wrap it up for us. Why don't you guys hit down in the comment section, tell us what you think. Is the Raiders job a great opportunity? Is it a bad opportunity? Agree with us? Where are we wrong? Let us know what you think. Hit the like and subscribe button while you're down there. We post these every week. Again, you guys can find us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. But until next time, it's been Emmett. It's been B. Thank you for joining us, guys.